Like he knows. Good evening, Brownsville AOBE members and BISD educators. Well, actually, all educators.
That's right.
Welcome to our second show for season 2, as Ida calls it.
That's right. Yeah, you can binge watch us anytime you want.
You can binge watch us on YouTube.
Especially with this cold weather. Hey, it's going to be perfect. You can go back and review our first season.
Oh my God, Ida, that's hilarious.
The ups and downs of BISD.
We're not on Netflix yet, but we're trying to make our
Yeah, but we're trying to get picked up there. Hopefully soon.
Oh my God, yes. So that's how it's been, right?
Yeah. It has been crazy, but hey, our cold front finally got here, so that's amazing.
It's actually cold.
I know. That was something
where it's 85.
Yeah. Walked into the administration building before the board meeting, and it was warm. And then when I walked out, it was pouring and it was fresh. I was like, oh my gosh, it was such nice weather. Well, once the rain stopped to me. Yeah. So
I'm not, I love the cold, not so much with the water. I mean, I know sometimes we need the water, but I'm like,
yeah, if it can do the raining at night, then we're all set.
Yes.
So
Miss Ida,
I'm so excited for today's show.
Me too.
I know. We're going to talk about the different things going on BISD and all the exciting stuff and all the money rolling in. Woo, it's raining. That's right.
Making it rain.
Oh gosh, don't get me started too soon, but we'll definitely.
It's a comedy show.
There you go. Exactly. But we're so excited about our special guest. So I don't know.
Super excited.
Yes.
He has visited many BISD campuses, and I was blessed to have him visit mine a couple of years ago. Learned so many things from him. He made a huge impact in my life when I really, really, really needed it. So I'm super excited that he's here. And I'm going to bring him on right now. Mr. Sean Elliott Russell.
Hi.
Hello.
He is the author of Be Still, Little Tree, Be Still, which I love. And when he went to our campus, I bought books and shirts and whatever he had there. And for my kids, for myself, I went a little crazy. But he was just really inspirational, and he was so good with the kids, and he had such a great message. So I'm so excited that he's here with us. Mr. Sean Elliott, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes,
we are so excited to have you offer some help and some advice to our viewers on how to deal with, of course, we all know we're still in the pandemic, and we're overwhelmed with workload and just a lot of loss, unfortunately, people losing family members and different things like that. And so whatever advice or tips or skills that you can give us, I mean, we're beyond blessed to have you here. So I don't know if you want to go ahead and just start, or do you?
Are we having some? I see one of the comments. We can't see his face. Oh, okay. I was like, are we having some technical difficulties? But no, everything is good. Sorry about that.
I'm like, what?
I know. I just wanted to make sure. I was like, no.
Yeah, I can just.
I didn't even put the banner up.
Are we good to go? Is everything all right?
I'm gonna make you the main one. There we go.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I had a chance to visit a lot of schools in BISD, and I had a great time when I did. And even since then, along with the pandemic, I've also gone through my own other storms, learned a lot more. Um, and I'm here to share what I've learned since then. It's been, I was looking at the date of when we talked, it was about 2.5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
over 2.5 years ago. So I've definitely learned a lot more, and I hope to be able to share a skill or a couple skills with folks, really focused on building the skill of finding peace by getting comfortable feeling uncomfortable. But then we were also, pre-show, we were talking about how to take small steps towards the things that we really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll kind of touch in on that a little bit too. I know I have, you said about 20 minutes, right? 15,
Yeah.
20 minutes.
You
No, you
have
have.
whatever time you need.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love to do those two things, because I think those are probably the most impactful things that I've learned. And in coaching others and organizations, those two things, the ability to find peace by getting comfortable feeling uncomfortable, and knowing how to break long visions down into small steps, are probably the two most impactful and transformative practices, that I can share. So first, we can start with finding peace by getting comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. And the reason that I focus on that, not necessarily a relaxation technique, although those are wonderful and you can find a gajillion of them out there. I recommend Yoga Nidra if you're looking for something that's very relaxing. You can go on YouTube and type in yoga, YOGA, second word Nidra, Nidra, and it walks you through 10-minute, 20-minute versions where you're basically just sitting there and scanning your body with your attention, and it's very relaxing. They say in the beginning, don't fall asleep, but I often fall asleep, and it's okay. So I highly recommend that. I do at least one a day. Um, but those are great for bringing relaxation into the body at the moment. But my focus has really been on what can I do? What's a skill that I can learn that will help me in the long run, especially because the pandemic occurring made it very apparent that you just never know what's going to happen in life. And some of those things are going to be really hard. And so my interest started to turn out of necessity, and dealing with trauma myself, and then also the pandemic. How do I get stronger from this? How can I prepare myself now for when events that are stressful, very stressful, happen in the future? I'll be ready. And I had this, I don't know where this idea came from, but I have this image in my head that kind of represents what I was going for. And it was this idea, I must have seen it in a movie or something. It was this idea of being able to go into the woods by myself and feel like I could take care of myself, that no matter what happened, I'd figure it out. Even if I was scared, I could take action. And then come out of the woods a week later with this sense of self reliance. There was just something about that image. And again, I don't know where it came from. It started to drive my, um, research on what skills do I need. And one of them really came down to, well, when difficult things happen, what makes them so difficult? Um, and part of it really is I feel really uncomfortable when they happen. I feel scared. I feel unsure. I feel angry. I feel sad. I feel helpless. I feel a lot of very uncomfortable things. And being uncomfortable with that and not knowing how to deal with that is making it difficult for me to move forward in this situation. So I did a lot of research. I even got certified in something called behavior design. Um,
Nice.
and right now I'm going through training for a mental health peer specialist certification.
Wow.
And I was able to kind of distill and simplify two things. And I use them in my life consistently. And I've been sharing them with clients, and I share them with organizations. Right now, I'm working with South Texas College on a program. that we're doing for fear of public speaking. And it seems to work really well and really fast, but you just need to practice it. So this is going to be a daily practice that you can do anywhere, um, with the intention of getting comfortable, feeling uncomfortable, because that is where resilience comes in, and that's where peace of mind comes in. And then if you use it in a certain way, you can actually start to change specific fears, phobias. I've helped people change phobias and all kinds of other stuff. So let's practice that together. I'd love to practice that with y'all right now if you want.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh, okay, so the first thing you're going to do, and there's kind of two parts to this. The first part is paying attention to your breath, paying attention to the movement of your in breath and the movement of your out breath. And then we're going to combine that with something called tapping. Tapping is a resource, a tool I came across and did some studying on it, that's effective for relaxing the body, but it's also really good to help you be very mindful in the moment and help you actually feel like you're taking action in the moment. So it's two parts. There's recognition of your in breath and out breath, the movement of it. You can feel it in your nose or your stomach or your ribs. And at the same time, we're also going to tap on certain parts of our body on acupressure points. The whole thing sounds super complicated, but I swear it takes about a minute. That's all it takes. And then you could do it as many times as you want. So we're going to practice together, and I'm going to guide you, and we could do it for the next minute or two. And
Okay.
and then after that, I'm going to have you test it out on an uncomfortable feeling to see what you notice. Okay. So here's how we do it. The points that we're going to tap on are kind of like a question mark. They go around the eyes, come down here, and the dot would be right here. So let's practice just with the points first, okay? Because you can even just tap on the points and it makes a difference. So with both hands, I'd like you to tap above your eyebrows. And when people are tapping, I tell them to tap as hard as if you're trying to get your own attention. So you're not trying to bruise yourself, but if you're distracted and you wanted to get your own attention, that's how hard you tap. So it's above the eyebrows. So that's one. Next one is on the side of the eyes, not necessarily on the temples, because that can cause a headache, but a little closer to the eyes. The next point is below the eyes, on the cheeks right there. Okay. The next one is below the nose. Two more. The next one's on your chin. And the last one is on your underneath your collarbone, just to the side of the midline there, just on the chest muscle. And that's it. Those are your tapping points. So we'll practice it one more time just so you get them. And after you do them a couple times, it starts to get pretty easy. And I like to use two hands, but if you want, you can always just use one hand. So here we go, above the eyebrows again. Side of the eyes. Good. Underneath the eyes and the cheeks. Underneath the nose. Underneath the bottom lip on the chin. Good. And below the collarbone, just on the side of the sternum. Yeah, on the chest muscles. Good job. All right. Okay. So just that, typically, if you do that for a minute or two, your body starts to feel a little bit more calm. I see you're nodding your head a little bit. Do you notice any kind of anything in your body?
Sorry, I'm on mute because the dog keeps barking. But I felt I don't know, like tingling,
Yeah, that's common. Yeah,
tingling.
little
Um,
tingling. Hmm.
but I've been so stressed lately that I'm probably gonna have a more severe reaction than than others will.
That's fine. That's perfect. I'm glad that we get a chance to work on it then. Hopefully we'll start to bring some of that stress down. Okay, so now we're going to combine that with breathing. So slow diaphragmatic breathing is shown in study after study to help relieve stress. We use it in combination with the tapping because when you combine the two, it makes you very mindful, very present. There's a very popular phrase, be in the present, be here now, be in the now. And I never used to understand what that meant. What do you mean by be in the now? Because supposedly that's going to take away all of my stress and all of my worries. I just have to be in the now. This technique, combining these two, helps you be in the now. It means just really kind of bringing your attention back to the moment so you're not caught in worries about what could happen or thinking about the past. You're just right here, right now, and letting your body kind of adjust to that and release any kind of tension. Okay, so we're going to practice the tapping, but with the breathing. Now, this is how it works. As you tap on one point, so I'll go first so you can watch it. As I'm tapping above my eyes, I just slowly breathe in. And as I switch my tapping point, I breathe out. So I'm timing my tapping with my breathing. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And that's it. That's one round. All right, you ready to practice together? Cool. All right, so here we go. So on the count of 3.
Yeah, you stressed me out. You counted too fast.
Honey Marcus, I go. All right, so here we go. Breathe in, tap above your eyebrows. Breathe out, side of the eyes. Nice and easy. Breathe in, underneath your eyes. Breathe out, below the nose. Nice, easy breaths. Breathe in, chin. Breathe out. Let's do one more round. Ready? Breathe in, yep. Breathe out. Follow the pace of your own breath. As soon as you notice you're breathing in, switch the tapping points. When you notice you're breathing out, switch your tapping points. Good. Good job. Linda said, I'm lightheaded. LOL.
So I'm assuming the more that you do it, it starts to get a little bit more, feel a little bit more natural, a little bit more relaxing because you're trying to concentrate on everything.
Yes.
And I know like somebody asked like, okay, is today's guest sharing stress relief techniques? And yes, that's our goal today for the first part of the show. We're going to relax you and then we'll work you right back up. No. But the first half is to try to get, because right now I believe every single person that we talk to, we hear them talk about how they're just so stressed out with everything going on, with the unrealistic deadlines that they're giving, with the workload that they have, with the unexpected turns in life, and we've always had that, but we're seeing it and much more frequently now, so we need to find ways to try to find peace and within ourselves and help to be able to relax ourselves, and that's the purpose of the first half of the show is, that Mr. Russell will be able to give us those techniques that can, if it helps to bring you down from a 10 to a 9.5, hey, we at least have some progress. And then eventually we'll get you down to a 9. So, it's small steps.
There you go.
So that's the goal today, is to try to help and show you some techniques and to help deal with all the pressures that we have today. It's not going to be the answers to everything, but you know what? It's going to help somewhat, a little bit. It makes a difference. And for some, hey, at least that little bit will help get them through today, and will help you get, through one more day at work with this crazy life that we're living here in the school districts and as educators. And when we say educators, we mean everybody, because it takes everybody to be an educator, from your teacher to administration to custodian to food service, transportation, maintenance. Every single person is an educator, because it takes the group effort to be able to educate the child and make a difference. So sorry about that, Mr. Russell. So
No, that works.
I'll
That
let
works.
you.
I see Mr. Castro. I'm trying to look at the said I'm breathing and still
Yes.
stressed. Yes. So let me address that.
Mr.
Um,
Castro is always stressed. He
serenity
always
now.
lives on a 10 because he travels a lot.
Yeah, so let me address that from what I can tell you from my own personal experience. First, it takes adrenaline takes about a minute and a half to start really clearing out of your body. So as soon as you're stressed, the adrenaline goes because it's preparation for a fight. Stress is preparation for battle. That's why the muscles tense up. That's why our breathing changes. That's why our heart rate changes. There is some sort of perception of danger. Even if we're not physically in danger, you don't have to be physically in danger. I'm sure everybody out there has something that they're afraid of. If you just vividly imagine that fear right now, you'll probably feel some sense of fear in your body. It doesn't have to be a literal dangerous situation. But once your body and your brain believe that you are in danger, it will go, no problem. We know exactly what to do. We're going to tense the muscles and brace for impact. We're going to get the heart rate going, change the breath so that way you can fight or you can run, or if you have to, you can be still and hope that the threat goes away. All of that is perfectly normal, but it takes a minute for it to release itself. So, what I like to do is I like to make sure that I just stick to the game plan. The game plan being, if I know that I'm not in danger, that means that my stress or my anxiousness is coming from my thinking. It's coming from what I think is dangerous. It's coming from a worry. It's coming from a thought about my past, a memory that's just coming up. So, what I want to do in that moment is I want to just continue to focus my mind on doing something that will allow my body to start to release the stress. And I saw this a lot when I was going to the schools. I would go to the schools mostly around STAR test time. And so I would go in and I would do the hour-long presentation, and I might share, a technique or two. I would speak to people afterwards. But I liked to try to speak to the counseling department there, if I could, the principal, because I wanted to see if they could possibly start to adapt some sort of technique that the kids could do throughout the entire year. Because what was happening, or what is happening, is you figure that the kids and the staff, right, have been
Yeah.
stressed about the test up until that point. And then hopefully we can relieve the stress. But they have practiced being scared and stressed for, what is it at that point? Let's see, October, November, December, January, February, March, at least 6 months. For at least 6 months, the stress has been building. It's going to take a lot longer than just an hour to relieve that stress. The body is just prepared for battle. So, with that said, if you're not already feeling the effects of releasing stress, I would suggest just to stick with it. Make it a habit every single day. You don't have to do this technique. It could be any other technique, but the mindfulness ones are really impactful because they help bring your thoughts back to here. And
Mhm.
being back to here, based in the body, makes it really hard to start going into the rumination. If you make it a habit, even of just doing it a minute a day, just 1 minute a day, even if it's just mindful breathing, paying attention to the sensations of your breath going in and out, that starts to train the skill of getting comfortable, feeling uncomfortable, and being present. And that will allow the body and your mind to start to release the tension. Um, But then there's also the, I really would like to feel better now, though. I
Yeah.
really just want to
Can't
feel
you just
better
fix it
right
now?
now, right now. And so if that's the case, if you breathe, if we breathe for a minute and you still feel stressed, you probably want to breathe for another minute and really try to set aside time to allow yourself, um, to let your body start to untangle the stress. That would be my recommendation in that circumstance. Is this tapping technique similar to EMDR? Similar. From what I understand, tapping with EMDR does this, and it's focusing on memory. Pretty much, you try to keep a memory, a vision, a thought in your mind as you're tapping. This is kind of similar, but we're tapping on specific acupressure points. This is something called emotional freedom techniques, EFT. You can find a lot of stuff on this. They've done a ton of studies on it, and it's been adapted as a trauma technique. But it's kind of similar, yeah. Only you don't need to hold a memory in your mind or a thought in your mind. You really just want to focus on breathing and tapping at the same time.
Okay.
Miss
Okay.
Estrada, I met you a couple years ago when you spoke to the Salinas Elementary School in Donna during Read Across America. Loved your reaction with the students.
Cool.
Great ideas for our kiddos who are also going through their own stressors during this pandemic and other life issues. Amen.
Yeah, very cool. I even created, so if you go to bestilltree.com, bestilltree.com, that's the website for the book, but I created this thing that I call the tap along. It's an interactive video module. So you click on it and you'll see it right there on the home screen. And from there, it's going to ask you what grade level you're in. And if you're an adult, just pick the highest grade level. and and it walks you through the tapping process. It's very similar. I don't think I'm doing the breathing with it. We're pretty much just doing tapping, but it's a module that walks you through. Well, how are you feeling right now? Let's go ahead and rate that, and now let's tap. And after you're done, how do you feel now? Do you want to tap again? It's very interactive, and I've been trying to. Awesome, yeah, you shared it. That's cool. I've been trying to share that with folks because it's an easy way for kids and staff to start to reduce their stress. And as an example of that, I had a friend of mine reach out to me before, actually, I had two reach out to me before school. Her son, who's in elementary school, was very anxious about COVID. He was having
Hmm.
nightmares. He was just any little thing that represented illness, he was very fearful of. So she reached out to me asking, what can I do? Can you help? And so we did tapping. I created a video for him to just play the video and do the tapping, and she did it with him. And I don't know how long it took. It was after at least a couple days, a week. There you go. He started to not be as afraid until it got to the point that now he was telling everybody else, don't worry about it. It's okay. You'll be fine. You didn't have nightmares anymore. You felt
Aw.
much more calm. And it gave him a sense of, and this is the other thing that I really like about this technique. It gives you a sense of there's something I can do right now. It gave him a sense of I can do something. I feel afraid, but there's something I can do about it. And that sense of agency where a kiddo or an adult in a moment where you kind of feel helpless and you feel afraid, if you feel like you can do something about that, that alone starts to reduce stress and fear because now you feel like you're taking action in the moment, even if it's just tapping and breathing to focus your mind and calm your system.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
it's really just, we have to train ourselves to be okay in the moment. And this is a way, because it's not like, okay, the stack of work is still going to be here. The deadlines are still going to be here, but it's
Hmm.
helping you to feel like you're, like you said, you're taking action, you're doing something, and it's helping to relax you and to bring you down from a 10.
Hmm.
And and I think that's something that a lot of people are having such a difficult time with right now. I mean, we get so many members that will call in and just really just want to vent and say what they're feeling, what and they break down and all these different things. And then once they get that out, then they're like, okay, I'm okay, you know, because then we're like, okay, what do you want us to do? We can do this. You have this option. You have that option. They're like, no, I'm okay now. You know, let me go ahead and, you know, I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted and this and that, you know, but I guess they just, you know, needed to be heard. They needed to do something, you know, and this is maybe something similar like that. It gives them different things that they can do and where they feel they're doing something towards getting better or taking action.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. I found in my own life that if I was feeling stressed or upset or afraid, the quickest way through that, first of all, sometimes it made it difficult to take the steps that were necessary because my emotion is so strong and all of my attention is on my emotion. So sometimes I think we can push through it and do what needs to be done, but sometimes it makes it difficult. It just feels like it's welling up. And I found that the quickest way through that is to do something to help myself connect with that and just let it be, because the emotions and the thoughts that come with it, they have a very natural cycle. It's like a wave in the ocean. They rise and that they fall, and they do that all by themselves. We don't have to do anything about it. And it happens a lot quicker if we don't do anything about it. If we can somehow just be mindful and, for lack of a better word, kind of embrace it as it's there because it's there anyway. And that's a lot easier said than done. That's why this tool in particular, the way that I put mindful breathing and tapping together, this was born out of me trying to figure out how can I just be okay with how I'm feeling so it passes quicker and I feel better quicker
Mhm.
and I learn from it and I become stronger from it. How can I do that right now when I feel panicked, like really panicked?
Mhm.
And so I already knew tapping, I already knew breathing. And so this is battle tested. Like I've really tested this in very overwhelming moments. And this is one of the things that keeps my mind focused and allows me to learn to be okay with the uncomfortable stuff, because that is going to help me feel better quicker. Not only that, but it's also building a skill that in the future, if I know, let's say, here's a perfect example. So I've been working with people with phobias, which is fun because once they've changed their phobia, it's really neat to see somebody go, "Oh, I didn't even know this was possible. I thought I was going to have this forever." There's somebody that had a phobia for 40 years of cockroaches that I worked with, and she couldn't even be in the same. You couldn't even say the word cockroach. If you watch her testimonial video, you couldn't even say cockroach around her. She was so afraid of cockroaches. So we worked for 2.5 hours over two different sessions. And by the end of the second session, there was a cockroach in the house. She was able to kill it and put it in a thing and take it outside, and it was no problem. And she didn't like it. It's not fun, but she wasn't screaming. She wasn't panicked. She wasn't helpless. And it wasn't that she had to fight herself to do that. It was just different for her now. The reason being, and all that we did was figure out those uncomfortable sensations that she was experiencing when she thought of cockroaches. And we used tapping, and I used something else that was just another tool to get comfortable. But as she was learning to just allow these sensations to be, as she was learning that there was something she could do about them and letting them pass, she was learning that in the future, if those arise again, she'll be okay. And then the fear starts to dissipate. So, this is, again, that phrase that I was telling you all about, long vision, small steps.
Mhm.
The long vision is, I want to be more okay in stressful situations. How do I do that? And one of the ways is to start learning that I can be comfortable with the uncomfortable stuff that might arise. And that itself takes some of the stress away, because then I'm not worried about it. I know that I can do something, and I know I'll be okay from experience. So that's another way that this technique helps. And like you said, building the skill of of how do we reduce stress, not just now. I don't want to stress myself out and then calm down and stress myself out and calm down. I want to know what can I do to really change this and transform it within myself. And that's what I found in my own life and working with others.
So you have the tone of a person that is very calm, like nothing stresses you out. And so have you always been able to be like that, or did this pandemic have any impact on you that did make you freak out at times? And because you seem very calm. Like, I can't picture you like getting, all worked up or anything like that.
That's awesome. That means my small steps every day are working. Because I will tell you,
before he even answers, I'm gonna say, have you guys heard of the what is his name? Oh my god, I can't his name. The one that says all right, all right, all right. McConaughey, Matthew McConaughey, right?
all
He
right, all
has like
right,
an
all right.
app that he speaks, and
Uh-huh.
it's like to help you relax and go to sleep.
Uh-huh.
You didn't think about that.
Like an ASMR? I should do an ASMR.
You didn't think about that. Yeah, like he came in on some night like show or whatever, and your voice is so like I don't know, like
Soothing,
it's like
soothing.
calm, yeah, like it's like soothing. I don't know.
Cool.
You know.
That's cool.
So
Thank you.
you haven't always been like this. You
No,
worked to
not
get
even remotely
to.
close.
Oh wow.
Yes, I would get angry right away at many things all the time. You know how it's really evident to me is how Facebook brings up memories?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes,
Sometimes it'll bring up memories of things I've posted like years ago.
cringeworthy.
Oh,
Man, I was so angry. I was angry at the world.
you were a Karen.
I was kind of, yeah, I was angry at just everything.
Wow.
Everything. And knowing now what I know about myself and emotions and all of that stuff, um, I know why I was like that now. But yeah, it's funny that I've been hearing that lately, and it really is kind of, I guess, evident that these small steps um, are helping, and I'm changing every day into a different version of myself, with that version being that this is really my daily practice. It's a way of life for me. As soon as I feel uncomfortable, the moment I notice that I'm feeling uncomfortable, or the moment I notice that I'm starting to think about something that's making me angry or making me afraid, that very second I notice it, I do something like this. I come back and I make peace with it. My whole motto around this is getting comfortable, feeling uncomfortable, because it
Mm-hmm.
really has transformed everything. Another example, y'all see my hair?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
Mm-hmm.
can see my hair. Everybody sees my beard. Now, when I came to visit the school, do you remember I had shaved head? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very super short. I'm going I'm going to reveal something very personal. And this is how I've used this in my life. Um, I very self-conscious for a majority of my life, afraid of embarrassment, afraid of rejection, which is normal. I think most people are, but to the point where I would adjust things about myself because I didn't want people to say things about me. I wanted to be perceived a certain way. And again, I think we all do this. And earlier this year, I hadn't cut my hair yet, and I usually just cut my own hair because it was so short. And I was taking a training. I was getting a training on in behavior design in something called Tiny Habits. And I was on a Zoom call, and everybody else on there are professionals, high level professionals, right? And here I am. I just woke up. I got bedhead. My beard isn't shaved, really, right? And I hop on Zoom, and I noticed that I felt afraid. I felt afraid because I thought somebody might say something or look at me weird or, any of those things. And I felt this feeling in my chest like, ugh. And then right away, I noticed myself think I should probably go get a hat, or maybe I should just turn the video off, or all of these things that I could do to avoid feeling like that, avoid somebody saying something like that. But in that moment, true to what I practice, I said, I'm not going to do that. Why? Because I am tired of not just being myself. I just want to be in a video. I'm tired of adjusting myself so that other people don't say things and I don't feel rejected or embarrassed. So from here on out, I'm not going to cut my hair. I'm not going to shave my beard. And I'm going to use it as an experiment. Every time I hop on video and I feel uncomfortable, like I want to hide, I'm just going to get really comfortable with that. And I use tapping, I use breathing. I'm just going to get comfortable with this feeling and let's see what happens. And what happened was the more comfortable I got feeling embarrassed or rejected, and nobody had said anything yet, right? It was just all in my mind. Um, the less I cared about what my hair looked like, and the less I cared about what my beard looked like. And the more I was allowed to just be myself, to just say the things I wanted to say and act how I wanted to act and just be me. And that has continued on to this and
Mhm.
this. Now, and when I hop on with organizations and businesses, this is what you get because it's me. And if I like my hair and beard like this, then it's going to be like this. And I don't care what anybody says. Um, and so this practice of trying to reduce stress, this goal of trying to reduce stress, I don't have stress about that anymore. Where I used to stress about that all the time, even when I was presenting at the schools. You know, for somebody who's really afraid of rejection and embarrassment, to get in front of 300, 400 middle school kids, especially
Mhm.
at that age, that's pretty frightening because you don't know what they're going to say at
Mhm.
any moment. You know, the looks that you're going to get. I was comfortable, but I was also uncomfortable in those situations. But now if I had to do that, I don't think I would care. So again, just to as a personal example and sharing something personal from my life
So,
as it
so you pushed yourself into an uncomfortable situation to help you to get more strength.
to get
And
comfortable with it. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Which led to more calmness.
mhm,
It led to more calmness because
mhm.
now I'm not all uptight about it, and I won't. Now I feel like I won't snap at anybody if they might say something or anything. There's been people that have said something. It's pretty it's pretty amazing what
Uh-huh.
happens when you start to grow your hair the way you want.
I'm
Other
sure.
people have thoughts about about that. So people have said some stuff, which has given me more stuff to get comfortable with. But
So
that's
did you take a did it make you have a step back when somebody addressed it and made a comment about it? Did you like
yeah.
regress in your progress?
No, no, no. I mean, it hurt. You know, it physically it hurt. Rejection hurts. Literally,
Mhm.
it's in the brain. It's the same as getting hit in the stomach by a bat. It's
And it
really
actually feels that way.
it
It
hurts.
hurts.
Yes,
Yeah.
it hurts. Um,
But
but
you just went back to your techniques
yeah, I
to
did
be
because
okay with it?
I was dedicated to going, I'm gonna get comfortable with this because if I do, then I get to really be free. I get to be me. I get to say the things that I want to say. You know, there'd be times where I'd hold my tongue because I wanted to say a joke, but I didn't want people to think I was stupid. So I'm
Mhm,
not being myself. I'm not being Sean. You know, I'm being who I think you want me to be. So
mhm,
yeah, when somebody said something at first, it was hurtful. But then this new dialogue came, and I know we're kind of going off, but I think I think it's useful. I've been telling people this, and they're like, "Thank you for sharing that." For sharing that. This dialogue came where I had it with somebody I know because he actually called me. He called me about my hair, and he goes, "You should cut it." I said, "Why?" And he said, "Doesn't look good." And I said, "Look good to who?" He said, "I don't know, everybody." Me? And I said, "So you want me to cut my hair because you don't like it and you don't think it looks good? I should cut my hair because you don't think it looks good." Yes. And I asked him, "And you don't find anything selfish about that I should cut my hair to make you happy?" And it was silence. so if anything, my viewpoint has shifted. Whereas before I believed that I should do that, and now I'm kind of bewildered at people who make that suggestion because it doesn't. I don't understand it anymore.
Mhm.
It's changed. But doing that consistently and just being really focused on getting comfortable, feeling uncomfortable, has, I guess, created a more calm demeanor because there's no, I don't feel as amped up all the time. But I
Mhm.
still get very afraid. Don't get me wrong.
You do still, you
Oh
have
yeah.
your moments, I
Oh
think
yeah.
we all have find a moment every now and then, on a daily basis, where we're going to feel uncomfortable, where we're going to feel overwhelmed,
Hmm.
and it's about going back to these techniques and retraining ourselves that it's going to be okay, we're going to work through it, you know uh,
Yeah.
there's a way to work through everything, even if it's just a little bit at a time and stuff, but we continue to make a little bit of progress and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Small
But
doesn't
steps.
happen all at once.
you just offered a perfect segue. But Dave Grohl, huh? I was just looking at the chat. At the chat, Dave Grohl, he's cool. I'll take that. I'll take that. That works. Virginia, thanks, Mr. It's cool. Well, I know I've gone way beyond my 20 minutes, so here's
Oh,
the
you're good.
last.
You're
There's
totally
the
good.
Okay, all right. Here's the last part because you just offered a perfect segue. Small steps.
Mhm.
So the first part that I've noticed in my own life and in working with others that really makes a difference is practicing this skill of just getting mindful. Every time you feel stressed and you notice you're starting to think a lot of stuff that are making you feel stressed, you can use this tapping and breathing technique immediately. Just and you can turn it into a habit because it only takes about a minute. Let me do this. Let me just do this right now and see what happens. And if you want to do it again, you can do it again. But that'll start to retrain yourself. As soon as you feel uncomfortable, you do something to help bring you back to the present moment, and that
Let
will.
me let me interrupt you real quick because I think that
Sure.
this question that I have will this is kind of going to answer that. How do you handle anxiety if you have to maintain a normal life? So like
Yeah,
what you're saying, like you at that moment will
that's
use
exactly
the
right.
tapping technique or the whatever to
But what about, like, because I can already imagine me getting a lot of calls tomorrow where they're in with their immediate supervisor, and in order to try to calm down, they start tapping on on themselves and stuff. So what about, like, when you're in a situation where they get called into their principal's office, and they're being hammered about this or that, and in some situations some principals are really hardcore, but let's not go
Hmm.
into that one right now.
well, before you
But
even go into the office, you're already like on high alert because you're like,
Anxious.
oh my God, what did I do? Oh my God. And you're trying to think back. What did I like? Did I say something? Did I do something? Did I email something? And your mind is already right. So you walk in and you're already like this. Like, how do
so, like,
you
are you at the point where you can already, like, bring on that calmness onto yourself by just, like, thinking, or breathing the deep breaths, or you have to pull yourself into a room to really pull yourself together? What do
Yeah,
you
great question. So if I can, yeah, I'll definitely kind of move to another room because it makes it a little bit easier. But if I can't, then again, I just come right back to what I know works for me. Is in that moment, as you were saying, right, you're already thinking about what did I do.
yeah,
So that's letting you know, just in that statement right there, the thinking, because you're not even in the situation, what you're
nope,
thinking is creating the stress about it.
right.
So a way to counter that is to do something that'll focus your mind instead of allowing it to go here and here and here. We can focus it in that moment using something like paying attention to the breath. Now, if you aren't comfortable tapping, you know, one of the ways that you can still tap. I like the tapping because it helps keep you present. It's something that you're doing that helps bring your attention back to here as opposed to adventures in worryland, right? You can tap on the side of your legs. That's something that I've taught the employees in the program I'm doing with STC. Just on the side of your legs. On when you're breathing in, tap on one leg. When you're breathing out, tap on the other. These are acupressure points too, between the knee and the hip, just on the side of the legs. Most people aren't going to notice, especially if you're at a desk. Nobody can see your legs anyway. But even if you are tapping on your legs, I think in a scenario like that, most people are so absorbed in what they're doing, they're not going to pay attention to what you're doing. So in that kind of scenario, before I was going to the supervisors, right? If I know that I'm starting to go off into what if this and what if that and what if this, I'm going to bring my attention back to my breath, and I'm going to tap along with it to help me stay with the breath for at least a minute, just to help to start to calm that storm down. Then if I get in the situation and the person is saying something, or I'm feeling uncomfortable from what they're saying, my job, if I can in that moment, if it's not something I have to be super present with, right? My job is to take care of how I feel in that moment. Why? Because if I can take care of how I feel by bringing attention to it, getting comfortable with it, relaxing with it, breathing with it, tapping with it, if I can do that, I'm going to be much better at responding to the situation rather than reacting. And so again, it would be the same skill. I would use the same thing. And I'm trying to think of the last time that may have happened.
I mean,
Just yesterday.
you can walk down
Just yesterday.
you can walk down the hallway focusing on your breath and tapping on your legs.
Yeah, or your feet hitting the ground is another great way. It's mindful walking. So as you're breathing, you're just paying attention to the feeling of your feet on the ground as you're walking and breathing at the same time, paying attention to your breath, again, mindful. The entire purpose is to try to bring your attention back to your physical body doing something, because that helps anchor your attention in one place, which makes it harder to kind of veer off into the other thoughts, and it makes it easier to notice when you have. Oh, there I go again. So let me just come back to my breath and my walking. But yeah, just yesterday I have no idea why, but I felt angry for some reason, and I told my loved one, "Man, I feel angry, angry right now." She's like, "Yeah, you are kind of short right now with your answers." I said, "I'm sorry about that." So I noticed how I felt, and I just got comfortable with it. And I did it through breathing. I think I tapped, but sometimes I can just do it through just focusing on my breath as a way to just, this is how I feel. Okay, let me make peace with it. Let me just let it be there until it passes. And until that happens, I'm just going to be really mindful. And sure enough, it didn't take very long. It took a couple minutes, and then it passed, and just went about my business.
Nice. Well, I will be trying that for sure, especially at the school board meetings when I get all worked up and I only get like 2 to 3 minutes to be able to get my thoughts across. A lot of tapping on that podium. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Let me know.
She's getting stressed just saying it.
Yeah.
You call me and go, all right, I'm about to go into the meeting.
Yeah.
Walk me through this.
I've already bruised the sides of my legs. No, but no, seriously, I think I am going to try that. I know I felt a little bit of relaxation as I was doing it. And as you were talking, I was doing the deep breaths. And so it does, it calms you down. You can feel the difference, brings your heart rate down. And it helps you to focus a little bit better on the issue, on what you're dealing with at this time. And sometimes it's when we get worked up that we're not able to focus and start to realize how we can start, attacking the issue, and start to work on finding, resolution on the issues that you have, that you're dealing with. So, yeah, that's something that I'm definitely going to be trying to practice on a daily basis, especially nowadays and throughout the day.
Throughout the day, yeah, little bits little
Yeah.
bits throughout the day, little minute here, little minute there, little minute here, little minute there. Every time you notice you're feeling a little uncomfortable, your
Yeah.
whole, if you can in that moment, your whole goal is to just, okay, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Let me just do some mindful breathing with some tapping just for a minute, and then let me go forward. And this is actually the perfect forum for this. And before school started, I was trying to reach out to as many folks as I could. Uh, it's really hard. As a matter of fact, there's many studies that show that it's really not effective. It's hard to be academically, for the students and for adults, just everyday focused and successful when you're stressed. Because
Yeah.
when you're stressed out, the part of the brain that's responsible for memory, especially, and executive functioning, that part doesn't function as well when we're stressed because it's not supposed to. And
So that's why when you go into an interview, you forget everything.
probably if you're stressed.
We're stressed.
Yes, you can't. If I heard this once. If somebody threw you in a shark tank and asked you to do a math equation, how well are you going to be able to, solve that equation? And it sounds like, well, that, we're not in a shark tank. You're not technically in a shark tank.
Sure feels like it.
But your brain thinks you're in danger like you're in a shark tank. There's no difference really. And so for staff and for students, um, to benefit and really start to excel at the things that both want to accomplish, there has to be some sort of stress management. Otherwise, a cycle occurs where you're stressed out, and then there's a push to get more successful, which stresses you more out, which there's now an increased push to be more successful, and regretfully it's a self-defeating cycle. So I would love, 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 love to see schools adapt as a priority stress reduction techniques that are simple to do every day. And if they did that, I really feel like the staff and the students would benefit not only in the reduction of stress, but also being able to see, like, wow, I can do the things that I wanted to do a little bit easier, and how hopeful and inspiring and motivated that would be.
So I
Yeah.
have another question, which kind of we can say is comes off of that, is a lot of teachers are having issues with kids who are overly stressed or overwhelmed. Does he, Mr. Russell, have any ideas on how they can help them stay calm and regulate their emotions? So like what you're saying, mindful breathing is something easy to do. That, you know, when you do the tapping, does the tapping have to be on your body?
Uh, yeah, you can do it on your body. So I know, especially with the COVID regulations, if you're not taking good hand hygiene,
Hygiene.
protocols, then maybe tapping on the face isn't necessarily a great thing, but you can tap on the body. Another point is underneath the arm, but you can just tap here and tap on the legs. Tap here and tap on the legs.
But what I mean,
And
I think you meant like tapped on something else. You mean like the desk or something like that?
Yeah.
yeah, you want to tap on the body, at least in the studies that they've done, and they've actually done a good number of studies on tapping in schools for kids,
Okay.
for test taking anxiety, just stress levels in general, and they've shown improvement, significant improvement, to where there's a push to try to get tapping into schools because it's a free, effective technique that anybody can do, and it's safe. You know,
That.
with the exception if you can't, if you
Yeah.
poke
So
your
like,
eye or something.
right. So like what you said about COVID, because we're like, I work with little ones, right? I work in an elementary school. So sometimes the little ones, their hands are not all that clean, but
Yeah.
having them do the chest area and their legs,
Hmm.
I mean, that's something easy that could be done 1 minute here
Yep.
and there, just to kind of help them.
Come back to center. Yeah, I would recommend that. Now, if the kid, because this could happen too, feels uncomfortable tapping in front of everybody, then I would definitely suggest like the legs, because as the legs are underneath the desk, you're not going to be able to see that tapping on the legs. I don't think anybody's going to notice or care or even know what you're doing at that point. Or if everybody's doing it, then everybody is going to be okay with it. So I would suggest practicing and teaching that to the students. Regulation of emotion, in my opinion, really comes down to not necessarily trying to change the emotion right away, which is what ends up happening, but it's really about being mindful with the emotion as the quickest way to allow
Mhm.
that emotion to rise and fall without being reactive to it. Because usually what happens is we feel an emotion and then we react to how we're feeling, which then creates another emotion, and now we're off and running. But if we can just pause, and if the students can be taught how to pause in that moment, the second you feel uncomfortable, just breathe and tap. Then you've not only starting to regulate the emotion in terms of allowing the motion to naturally come and go, but you're also pausing and choosing a different behavior instead of the reactive one that could just perpetuate it. So if I felt angry and I lash out, I'm just going to feel more angry. But if I feel angry and I go, okay, this is my cue to tap and breathe so I can feel better quicker, then you're starting to make real great changes, not only in the moment but moving forward.
So Donna
Oh,
ISD
cool.
has implemented yoga during PE. One of our leaders said that a student was anxious because of a test, and another student reminded him about what they learned, and it helped him.
I
Very cool.
actually I saw that story on the news, and I was really impressed because they interviewed some of the students, and this was in the elementary level, and you could tell, that it was the students speaking and not somebody that gave them material to say. So it was really, you saw the effects of what yoga had been doing, and they were saying how it helped them in the classroom, where they when they started to get anxious about the test or the assignments, that they just went back to remember the breathing techniques that they had learned. So I thought that was pretty good. But in Brownsville, I know they are doing the SEL, which is the social emotional learning curriculum. But the thing with that is that they're doing it in the classroom. And so some of the teachers are having issues because it's taking away 15 to 20 minutes of instructional time. So
Mhm.
what one of the things that we recommended to the curriculum and instruction department is maybe they can move that to PE, because it's more of the breathing techniques and calmness and things like that. It's very similar to yoga, but they're not doing the stretches,
Mhm.
but it's breathing techniques, which it is very important. But I think if they were to put it in the PE time, it would be a little bit more effective, and it would help those teachers to get those 15 to 20 minutes back into the instructional time, which is it's like gold. Instructional time to the teachers is like gold. Oh my gosh. They fight for every minute because they need it. They need it, unfortunately. So,
Yeah.
but
That's a great recommendation, by the way. And that's I think that's really insightful. And that's one of the things that's the other thing that I was trying to reach out to folks about. I Over the summer I got certified in something called behavior design by somebody out of Stanford. And the whole thing is about, okay, if you want to see behavior change, this is how you do it. And there's a systematic way about going about it. And I think one of the reasons that um, techniques were not kind of taken up at the beginning of the school year was, how do you fit that into a school day? Because like you said, the teachers are already stressed, they have little time,
yep,
and so taking that away just creates more stress. But it
exactly.
is right, but it is necessary, because it's reducing stress, which will then make not only the teaching but the learning more effective. So it has to be there, but where do we put it? And I like your idea of putting it in physical education and
Yes.
utilizing that time, because it would be a perfect time to do it.
Yeah. So we are working with that with the school district for them to work on shifting that over there, and because it is important, but it'll help the teachers out as well, getting those 15 to 20 minutes back and
Hmm.
stuff. But so, Mr. Russell, if people want to get in contact with you, what do you recommend? Do they follow you on Facebook? What
Sure.
would be the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, that'll work. You can follow me on Facebook, and I think just go Sean Russell, and you'll see my face on the profile. You can go to bestilltree.com, which is the website for the book, and I have the tap along on there. And then I also have a coaching business where I coach people on stress reduction techniques, not just relaxation, but let's really start to change things. Let's really start to transform things, but also on goal achievement, and which is really fun for me too, because the thing I got certified in is called Tiny Habits. So it's helping people. Stress reduction can be one of them, but if they wanted to, anything really, one person wants to open a business, another person wanted to get more fit. It just really, any goal that you can think of where you're going to need to take action on, or any new habit that you want to create in your life that you're having trouble creating, I can show you how to do that successfully. So that website is abchabits.com. So you can reach me at those two places, bestilltree.com. That's for the book. And if you're interested in any kind of help with stress reduction or helping you create new habits or achieve your goals, you can go to abchabits.com.
Nice.
Awesome, Sean. So, well, this has been very helpful. Yes, we did go over the 20 minutes, but
Way over the 20.
yeah, but we needed to show them techniques so they could continue to survive in BISD or being an educator. It's getting difficult
Yeah.
by the day, but you know what? We got to handle it one day at a time, and we
I
will.
have an idea that I'd like to run by you real quick.
Okay.
If the need is there, which I believe it is, it would be cool. Maybe we can do it once every 2 weeks to hop on a Zoom call. Anybody that's interested in doing maybe stress reduction, and I'll lead everybody through tapping and breathing. For it could be like a 30-minute Zoom call that we can do.
Let's do that.
I love it.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's set it
Yeah.
up, and we'll figure out a time and a day every 2 weeks that we can do it that works
Yes.
best for everybody. And I'd be happy to help out and see if we can start to change how people feel.
Yes.
Love that.
That is awesome, Sean. We really appreciate how you do, go out of your way to try to help other people, find that peace in this difficult times. Life has always been stressful, as it is, and now even more so. And so these things, we really need to decide for ourselves when we have to start taking action to take care of ourselves, because the body only takes so much. It'll start to break down. Living at a 10 all the time. I think I'm preaching to myself. Maybe so I can listen. I don't know, but no, we have to start to take care of ourselves. It's getting more and more difficult, and it'll continue to build up if we don't do that. But I am pledging to start to do some of these techniques, and I'm going to do that to start to, if I take better care of myself, I am able to help more people that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that is very important, because I still, want to be able to do a lot to help a lot of people and help empower a lot of our educators and members and stuff. So I want to be able to do that. And that's the only way I'm going to do that, by taking better care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you.
We need you. We need you. You got to take care of
Yes.
yourself, both of y'all.
Oh my gosh, I can't live without Ida.
Thank you all so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This was awesome. Thanks for the extra time. You're
No,
very
no.
gracious.
No, and this isn't the last time you're going to hear from us. You know, we're
Cool.
going to continue. We're going to do that. We're going to set that up. I
Yeah.
think that's something that you know, is very important and will make a difference. And if we can start, you know, reaching just a few, we're going to continue to you know, expand that, and it'll start to, you know, they can tell one person at a time and start to show them and spread that love.
There you go. I love it. Yeah, I'll contact you tomorrow, and we'll make sure that we get that set up right away.
Now,
Awesome.
Sean, you said it's on Facebook. You're under Sean Russell, correct? SHAWN Russell, right?
Do believe so. I'm going to look
Because I
right
got a
now.
message that they're looking and they couldn't find you.
Sean.
He's
Try
under
Sean Elliott Russell.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Sean Elliott Russell, or Facebook.com/Be Still Little Tree.
You know what? Let me go to your Facebook so people can see what the
What
picture
it
looks
looks like. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be me doing a face like this. I don't want to say I'm like this in the profile picture. Yes, I am.
With your long hair? With your long
No,
hair?
it's when I had the shorter hair.
Oh, really?
Although one with the long hair would kind of be funny. Though. But I usually post up a video. I've been doing almost a video almost every single day this month, doing a guided tapping practice.
Oh, okay.
So they can do that until we have the Zoom, the group Zoom meeting. But that's it.
Awesome.
Feel free to join me on my shenanigans.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sean. And we might have to call you back if we end up working up the people once we discuss the retention stipend that was just approved for the district.
No problem. I'm here.
There's going to be a lot of tapping going on in the valley tonight.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Sincerely, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Bye.
Is it your birthday? Oh, somebody said yes. Tomorrow is my birthday.
Oh.
Happy early birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy early birthday. May you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. I like him. Very calm. Very, very soothing voice. So and I'm serious. I'm going to practice those things so I can start to be calm and be still. So, okay. So let's get into some of these.
Let's get rid of the comb.
Yeah, let's start to get worked up on today's hot topic of the retention stipend that got approved. Okay, so I did speak at the school board meeting that was today at noon. So was it strategic that it was at noon? Maybe, because where's everybody during the day at work? So, but they had it at noon, and I spoke and mentioned about how it's nearly not enough, and so on and so forth. That I don't know if you could play the video. Would you be able to do that?
Let me try.
No, it's okay. Don't even go there. No, that's fine. Because the show's already, going along. We're just going to hit on the topics. So it got approved for $500, and it is going to be paid on a separate check. It will not be together with your regular payroll check. It's going to be on December 17th.
Yeah.
So the good news is that, yes, they considered to run it for this December. Okay. So that wasn't something that was originally planned. We had been lobbying the school board members. We'd been asking administration to consider this. Our employees deserve this. They've been working so hard. We've been losing so many employees on a monthly basis. You see it now at every school board meeting. where there's some resigning and retiring, on a monthly basis, where you used to only see it at the end of the school year and maybe a handful mid-year. So that's not what we're seeing anymore. We're seeing a whole lot more, and which goes to show you of how bad things really are in the district. So that's why we had been asking for a retention stipend for this December. So they did that, but here's the thing. Overall, there was 3,200 that were approved for retention stipends. Okay, but that's for the 3-year span. Okay, so let
me ask you a question on the 3,200.
Mm-hmm.
Who came up with that number?
That is what administration came up with when they were having their meetings, and they submitted their plan to the state on the ESSER 3 funding. So in order to apply for that funding, they had to submit a detailed plan as to where all of this funding was going to go. That's where they were going to put so much into the new what do you call those, AC units. They were going to put into safety equipment and different things like that, different programs that they're buying, and all these different things. So they had to break it down in exactly where these $183 million were going to go. So, and then it has to get approved. So that was created by a committee of where they pulled in so many people from the different departments, and everybody gave their input, and to say how much they needed to spend, how much, and what they were going to spend it on, and how it was going to be effective. Okay.
Is this committee supposed to be the committee that's including associations and community members?
That is what is recommended by the Department of Education, but that is not what BISD did. Okay, so it's recommended because if you think about it, the associations are what represents the members and the employees of the district. So who's going to bring you their ideas, their concerns, more than your employee association? And that's what we practice. That's why we do surveys to get input from the members. That's why we do those one-on-one calls to hear how you feel, what you think, and things like that. So we do all of that because we voice your concerns. That's our goal there, to help get your message across, not my message, how I feel, but how you feel, what you're experiencing, what your concerns are, and, but unfortunately, BISD did not do that. They did not let us on to those committees, and it didn't mean that we didn't go to the budget meetings. We went to the budget committee meetings, and we expressed our concerns on certain things. For example, and I keep hammering on this one, but the adult education program originally had over $3 million that were going to be allocated to that program. And that serves about 1,000 students. So we felt that was a little excessive there, and that funding could go towards better things such as retention stipends. We feel very strong about taking care of the employees that are in the district, and they're the ones who carry out all the programs for you, all the work for you. They're your front line, and in between and everywhere else. They're the ones who do it all. So we really believe they need to move up employees on the priority list. So we argued about how much, and we exposed how much money was going to the adult ed program, and made people have that conversation as to why so much was going there. So they brought it down to 1.3 million, which is still, to me, in my opinion, a little high. So, but that's how they came about where all that money was going to be allocated. And that was what was submitted, and that's the plan that got approved. But you're able to amend your plan. If the need changes and things are changing, you can amend that. So one of the things that we've been addressing is the amount of people that are leaving early. If they're leaving, they're resigning or retiring or just straight out walking out, which we have had.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, you know what, I just cannot go back. I can't, and it's really sad to see that. But if they're to that point, then we need to do something to try to take care of these employees. And one of the things that we've been hitting hard is the workload and
Yeah.
responsibilities and the retention stipends. So with that, we were hoping that they would reallocate some additional funding towards that, but that's not what happened. And I want to sincerely thank everybody who took action and actually called and emailed and texted school board members, because we sent out their information, we posted their information, their contact information, because that's what they're there for.
Yep.
They're there to help and to serve. They're public servants. So that's you need to feel free to contact them. They were elected to hold that position. So I thank you if you did do that. And it just didn't go the way that we were hoping. Yes, $500 is better than nothing. It sure is. But it's also, in a way, kind of an insult. And the bigger insult is that those $500 are really just in advance of the stipend that was going to be paid out next year. So it's not in addition to. Still, overall, it's going to be $3,200 that get paid out. So what has been paid out was the $600 in June, $600 in August, and then $500 will be in December. And then after that, that's $1,700, and then the remainder will be paid out next year. So it was really just an advance from that. But you know what? We're not done. We're going to continue to lobby and ask them to reconsider this. And it takes all of us to be able to make that difference. So we hope that you continue to reach out and contact them and let them know that we deserve more as employees. We deserve a whole lot more. So, but that's where that is at. It's going to be $500 paid out in December. We wish it was better news. We wish it was a higher amount, but unfortunately, that's what they decided to go with. So,
Yep.
what are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? So I'm wondering, because up the valley, and not even so far up the valley, I believe San Benito, they've been giving really high stipends. And so I'm just wondering where the number 3,200 came from. Is that a number that is required by the state or by the federal government, whoever gave us the money? And well, it's the federal government, right? Because the ESSER funds are from the federal. Like Donna, San Benito, like all these other school districts are giving big, huge amounts that either already added up to the 3,200 or have surpassed. So that's why I was asking, where is the 32, where is that number coming from? Is that a certain percentage that they had to meet, or like where is the 3,200 coming from?
You're able to give up to a certain percentage of the ESSER funding for retention stipends. Okay. It cannot be towards salaries. Okay. Because that's something that will carry on once you increment their salaries. But it can be towards stipends, one-time stipends. Okay. That are not going to be reoccurring. So that's the thing with that. And I want to say the percentage of what could have gone towards it is 20% of the ESSER funding. Okay. Because you do have certain guidelines that you do need to follow.
Right.
So we were very much below that amount.
So what is the amount? I'm gonna calculate. What is the amount that we got?
183 million.
183 million. And we have 20%.
Mm-hmm.
So 20% of that is 36,600,000.
Mm-hmm. So they paid out 3,000. They're going to pay out 3,200. So if you multiply that
times what, 6,200 employees?
6,200 is what they said today.
That's not even 20 million.
Exactly.
19,840,000.
And that's why we're saying it could have been more. It could have been because of the amount that we brought in. So keep in mind that these other districts that are giving out 3,000 or 3,500 so far, they got a whole lot less funding in ESSER money. So they gave a higher percentage than what we're giving out. We got the biggest amount in the Valley. And that's what's heartbreaking.
And that doesn't include the money that we got from Elon Musk either.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So this is how much under we are from the 20%.
Correct.
Wow.
So that's why when we send out the text messages that, hey, reach out and ask them, to reconsider a higher amount. This is why, because it is doable. It is doable.
That's what it would be per person if they included that.
An additional.
Yeah.
So, again, 500 is better than nothing right now, but really it was just an advance that we got.
That's what it would be total.
And I think every school employee, let me take that back. Almost every school employee deserves that. And, but, that's what was voted on. That's what was approved. And that's what was recommended by the superintendent. So that's where we're at. Just wanted to update everybody on what went on today's school board meeting.
So I did have a lot of questions from people asking why they're allowed to have the meetings at 12 noon, knowing that people are in school and cannot come in and speak. Is there a rule on that, or they're allowed to have it whenever they want?
As long as they publicly post it and it's announced within 72 hours before the meeting for a special called board meeting.
Okay.
And
I did have a lot of questions on that. And I said, well, it's strategic because nobody can show up. And I'm sure we would be able to pack the boardroom if we had, if it was after school. We'd probably be able to get a lot of people in there and then maybe the amount would have changed.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We could have organized around it and stuff. But you know what? We did a lot of what we could. We had people reaching out to the school board members, expressing their feelings on it, saying their recommendations on it. And, unfortunately, they went with the recommendation from the superintendent.
Yeah.
The superintendent did say that he will not be receiving the $500 Christmas bonus.
Mm-hmm. He did say that. Yes, ma'am, he did.
So thank you for putting those $500 back in the pot.
Yeah.
So,
Let me put up some of the comments that I skipped when Mr. Russell was on. Hi, Mr. Cisneros. Hope you're still on. Mr. Leal, hello. The 500 set, or is it possible? It is set. It was voted on. That is the amount that will be going out December 17th, unless we are able to get some more. But that is the minimum.
yes.
Oh, weird with that one. Marisa Lopez says hi.
Hi.
Hello, Ms. Lopez. I'm trying to see if there's any more. Hello, Mr. Ram. Does anybody have any questions on what Miss Ida has discussed?
I think that's it. We are still addressing the workload. We're still working with administration on that. I know some people brought the concerns as far as the data wall that are now they're calling it the data cell. They just changed the name up a little bit. It's a lot of the same information being requested. It's redundant information being requested. So we're working on that with curriculum and instruction on, especially if it's information that can be pulled from the programs that they have access to.
Yeah.
So, there's no need to be bothering the teachers or any other staff when they have access to this information.
Programs they have, to that platform, those platforms.
Yeah. There's one campus that got it was a 4-page report that was due from one day to the next. And they sent that to me and I was like, wow. So I did forward that higher up saying, this is what is just pushing your teachers to the edge. I mean, come on, who does that? 4 pages of data required to be turned in from a teacher that has a full class load. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
So it is important that you guys share with us your if you're experiencing things like that, or if you're experiencing the disrespect at the workplace, please let us know. We do work a lot behind the scenes to take care of your issues, to address your issues. So, we help by exposing some of these things and also being strategic on how we do that. So, all I can say is please continue to hold on. We're working really hard to try to reduce some of this workload, to minimize on these meetings that are just, I'm sorry to say, but just some of them are just a waste of time. And they need to find better ways to, get their information. Sometimes they just have meetings just to have meetings and nothing productive comes out of it. And you guys do not have the time for that. I'm sorry. So, he said, yeah, the show.
She's like, yeah. Come over here, Mama. Miss Virginia, thanks for everything you do. Thank you.
Thank
Gloria
you.
Garcia, hola, thank you
Gloria.
it was a very touching speech. It was. You did great, Ida.
Thank you.
Mary Garcia, thank you, ladies, for all you do. Maggie.
Miss Maggie. Woo.
I love Miss Maggie. Did she misunderstand? You misunderstood. Are people at main office getting 2,500 while the rest of the school district gets 500?
No, no, the main office. No, everybody is getting 500. It's not going to be a different amount at the main office. The only thing is that the superintendent said that he will not be receiving the $500. That he's going to. I don't know how he said that he was going to do that, but he's not going to receive those $500. So I think that is it for today. I am being
Coco agrees with what you're saying. That
yes, yes. He's calling it out.
he's like, he said it. I agree.
I am learning how to breathe and be calm.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. And oh, oops, that's the wrong one. I was hoping he would share his backstory. But that would have gone like way over. But a lot of people from BISD were able to hear his backstory, and how he came to the writing of his book and how he came to be an inspirational speaker and all of these things. But I'm going to tell you, when he did come to our school, I was going through really bad anxiety, and a lot of his techniques helped. And before we came onto the show, before he even logged in, I was mentioning to Ida how I was going through a really rough time, and I messaged him, not even thinking he would respond, right? But he did. And he took the time to teach me like breathing techniques and different things like that, that actually helped me get through really, really hard times with like anxiety and like panic attacks or whatever. And so, and when before we got on live and we were talking to him about how, a lot of that has been like exaggerated or whatever with the pandemic, because it's like something that you can't control, and when we can't control stuff, of course, then your emotions go all crazy because you can't control. And so I'm so glad that he came on and taught us the things that he did. And I was in shock when he offered to do something with us every 2 weeks.
I know.
I was like, one, I know he's super, super busy. And two, I mean, come on, that was so sweet. And that is just his way. Like, he just wants to offer his help to whoever he can help.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like, wow. So we need to set it up. We need to figure out how, whatever, and have our members log in with him and, learn skills. We just need to learn skills.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we do it like maybe on a Saturday or what would work best. But it is something we are definitely going to do because I think we need it. I know I definitely need it. I tend to take on everybody's issues and concerns, and I don't know how to let go. Yep. So I carry a lot of the concerns with me, and it hurts me to see the members struggling and going through a difficult time at the workplace. A lot of the other issues on top of that, besides the pandemic, to have people that are ugly to one another or abuse of power and things like that in such difficult times that we're facing. I mean, come on. So all of these things, I carry it with me. And so I need to learn to be able to, breathe through the process. Doesn't mean I'm not going to work on it. Doesn't mean I'm not going to handle and look into your issue and get it taken care of. But I need to learn to breathe and be okay through the process. So I am definitely going to be.
And I was dead serious that there is an app with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh.
There is. He came out on a show. They played he's like reading like a story, or he's doing something. And I was like, oh my God, his voice is so soothing. And then when you said that, I was like, that's right. Like, his voice is so like, it just brings you down, right?
Yeah, it makes you relax.
He can make an app and make money off of it.
Definitely. But so all right. So with that, I think we can go ahead and close today's show. And I want to wish everybody a wonderful and peaceful Thanksgiving holiday. May you be able to find time to take some time for yourself and for your family, the things that are important to you. Spoil yourself a little bit. Doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of money. I'm sure my husband is glad that I said that.
He's like, record.
But find time to spoil yourself in one way or another. Take care of you. Move yourself up in the priority list, since the district didn't do it. So I really do hope that you do find some time, read a book, binge a series.
Binge the AOBE Advocate show.
First season, and do something that is for you. It doesn't matter what it is, but do something for you. So I hope you get to enjoy it. May you have a safe Thanksgiving and a restful one and a peaceful one. I really hope. I sincerely mean that to each and every one of you.
Yes. We want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. Please be safe. If you're going to go do any Black Friday shopping, use the techniques that Mr. Russell taught us while you're standing in line. And, like Ida said, this is our time. Try not to do any work. I'm preaching to myself now. Try not to do any work. Focus on your family. It's been a tough beginning of the year for most of us, and we need this time. We really need this time. There's a lot of us that feel like we're crawling till tomorrow, and so we really need this time to revamp and refresh ourselves, hit the reset button, and get ready for when we come back the following week. So relax, enjoy your families.
Turn it off. And yeah, you got to learn to now I'm preaching to myself again. You got to learn to disconnect. So I hope you're able to do that. I know believe it or not, the work will be there. So
it ain't going anywhere.
So take some time. It's gonna get better. We're gonna come back. Gotta work on these techniques and be better when we return. Okay, so blessings to all of you.
Eats lots of turkey.
Lots of carbs. The carbs do not count on the holidays, guys. Remember that.
Everything is calorie and fat free.
Yes. Okay. So
happy Thanksgiving. Have a good night. Bye-bye.